Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to dive into Shrove Tuesday. Now a lot of us know it as Pancake Day or Mardi Gras, but it's got this amazing history that's all about getting ready both practically and spiritually for a much longer journey.
Okay, let me ask you something. Imagine you're about to leave home for a 40-day trip. Nobody's going to be at your house. What's the very first, most practical thing you do before you lock that door?
You clean out the fridge, right? Of course. You got to use up all the milk, the eggs, the butter, basically anything that's going to go bad while you're away. And believe it or not, that simple little chore is the perfect way to understand how this whole centuries-old tradition got started.
So that 40-day trip, well, in the Christian tradition, that's Lent. It's this really important season of prayer and fasting that actually mirrors the 40 days that Christ spent fasting out in the wilderness. It's a huge spiritual journey and one that takes some serious preparation.
Okay, so let's get back to our fridge analogy. That big feast right before Lent, it didn't just start as an excuse to have a party. Nope, it began as a really smart, practical solution to a very real problem. It was literally all about clearing out the pantry.
And you have to understand, we're not just talking about giving up chocolate or social media for a few weeks. Back in the early and medieval church, the rules for Lenten fasting were, wow, they were incredibly strict, way more intense than what most people think of today.
I mean, the list of forbidden foods was huge. For the entire 40 days, Christians were not allowed to eat any animal products. We're talking no meat, no lard, no eggs, no milk, no butter, and yep, no cheese. Basically, a strict vegan diet long before that was even a thing.
So what on earth do you do when your pantry is full of all this stuff that's about to be off limits for over a month and will definitely spoil? The solution was brilliant. You just have one last massive feast to use everything up. It avoids waste, and just as importantly, it removes all that temptation.
And this is exactly where Pancake Tuesday comes from. I mean, think about it. What's the fastest, easiest way to burn through a ton of eggs, milk, butter, and fat? You make pancakes. It was the perfect, practical, and delicious recipe for the day.
But, clearing out the pantry, that was only half the equation. The name of the day itself, Shrove Tuesday, points to something much deeper, a kind of spiritual preparation that was happening right alongside it.
The word shrove actually comes from the Old Middle English word shrive, and shrive literally means to confess your sins and be forgiven. So right there in the name, it's telling you the day was all about a spiritual spring cleaning.
So you see what was happening? Just as people were clearing all that rich food out of their houses, they were also supposed to be clearing the sin from their souls. The whole point was to start the really serious journey of Lent with a totally clean conscience.
And this spiritual side of things got another really important layer added to it. In 1958, Pope Pius XII officially linked Shrove Tuesday to the devotion to the Holy Face of Jesus. This established the day as a time for prayer and reparation for sins, adding this whole new dimension of quiet contemplation to the big festive celebration.
So that's the history. But how did we get from that total ban on animal products to what we see today? Well, as you can imagine, the rules have evolved quite a bit.
You can really see the shift here. The medieval fast meant no animal products at all for 40 straight days. Today, the universal rules for Catholics are much more focused. It's about abstaining from meat on Fridays and then fasting on just 2 days, Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. It's a pretty big difference, right?
But even with the more relaxed fasting rules, the spirit of Shrove Tuesday is definitely still alive and well. Sacramentally, many people still make a point to go to confession, honoring that old shriving tradition. In the community, you see all those parish pancake suppers that are really all about connecting with people before Lent begins. And then for us, personally, it acts as a kind of final deadline, a reminder to decide what our Lenten journey of prayer, fasting, and charity is actually going to look like.
So when you put it all together, you realize Shrove Tuesday is this really beautiful example of faith, marrying the physical and the spiritual, the totally practical and the deeply profound.
There's a really great line from our source material that says it perfectly. It is a day that proves the road to the resurrection begins not just with ashes, but with the humble act of communal joy and a clean heart. It's this wonderful celebration of abundance right before a choice to turn towards simplicity.
And that really leaves us with one last thought to chew on. And it doesn't matter if you observe Lent or not, because this principle is universal. Before you start any important journey of growth or change, it's worth asking, what's the richness in your own life, whether it's stuff or a mindset or even a spiritual habit that needs clearing out to make space for what's coming next?